This year, we have seen numerous grass fires across southern and central Saskatchewan. We've seen a few recent showers, but the risk of fire remains quite high in the province after our dry winter. Mike Flanagan is a professor of wildland fire at the University of Alberta and joins me now via Skype. Thank you so much for taking the time today, Mike.
Oh, my pleasure, Christy.
Well, our fire season has been very busy to start. How common is it to see this many fires this early in May across Canada?
Well, actually, we keep really good details on forest fires, but not so much on grassland fires. So it's really hard to say because we have nothing to compare against, but it does seem to be a very active grass fire season. And this is normal this time of year. After the snow leaves, until things green up, there's a window where the vegetation, i.e. dry grass, is very flammable. So all you need is some ignition and some wind, and you have a raging inferno.
How does the speed in which the snow melt affect the risk of fires getting going?
So I get asked this question all the time. If we have a wet winter, wet spring, does that mean we're not going to have a fire problem? No, not at all. Things like grass, they can dry up very quickly. So if it's warm and dry and windy like it's been in Saskatchewan, it only takes a few hours for that dry grass to burn again. So even after a rain, very quickly, grass can burn again until it greens up and you get a whole bunch of live fuel that has a lot more moisture in it, and it's much harder to burn. So for the next 3-4 weeks, grass fires are fair game.
So with regards to that, you mentioned recent rainfall can help, but you can see that fire risk going up again. We did see that this week with a little bit of rain and then still a high fire risk. How much rain does it really take before things start to green up and it starts to get a little bit better? Do you need a good soaking, or is it just the time?
So there's a couple of things going on. And you're going to see some showers coming in today, and out to the southwest corner of Saskatchewan, they'll give you a brief reprieve, but then the warm, dry, windy weather returns. So away we go back to being careful with fire to prevent these forest fires or wildland fires. So some rain helps, yes. More rain helps a lot, but until things really green up, things dry out within hours, if not days.
On that note, you mentioned people having to be careful. Many of these fires this year have been human caused. So how do these fires get out of control so quickly?
So that's a good point, Christy. Almost all the fires in the spring are human caused because our lightning season hasn't really started yet in earnest. And human caused fires are preventable. So if you're burning, don't burn on a hot, dry, windy day. Make sure you have a fire permit. If there's a fire ban, observe the fire bans. A lot of it's common sense, but just respect fire, because as I say, it only takes a spark to get a fire going. And if it's windy, it can spread very quickly. And some people think that grass fires aren't dangerous. They are. There have been fatalities from grass fires. So respect fire, observe the fire bans, and we can reduce the number of human-caused fires.
You mentioned wind. With weather forecasting, what are the conditions that are the most dangerous when we're looking at the potential for fires starting and getting out of control very quickly?
So we often say in the fire business, hot, dry, and windy. But in reality, all you need is dry and windy, and away we go. So, I talk about 3 ingredients that you need for fire. Fuels, whether it's grass, trees, shrubs, needles, leaves. You need that, how much, how dry it is, what type, important. Ignition, people and lightning, and then weather, hot, dry, windy weather. I'm biased. I think weather is the most important. You need all 3. Lightning's a function of the weather. Fuel moisture is also a function of the weather, and fuel moisture determines if a fire will start and spread.
With regards to a changing climate, what do you expect to see with wildfires in Canada?
So we've already seen a doubling of area burned in Canada, and myself and others attribute this to human-caused climate change. Currently we burn about 2.5 to 3 million hectares. That's about half the size of Nova Scotia. Burns every year. That's doubled since the 70s. And with climate change, we expect it to double again because the warmer it gets, the more fire we get. And quickly, there's 3 reasons why. Longer fire seasons, because it's warmer. More lightning, because it's warmer. More lightning means more fire. And the warmer it gets, the drier our fuels get, unless we see increases in precipitation And according to our forecasts or models of the future, we don't see that. So drier fuels means it's easier for fires to start and spread. Don't get me wrong, not every year is going to be a bad fire year. Who knows what this fire season will be like? We get rain every 3 or 4 days, we won't have a problem. But if it's hot and dry, and then we get the winds and ignitions, we're going to have a problem. So expect more fire in the future, more smoke, more flames.
Especially as we head into the warmest months of the year. Thank you so much for this today, Mike.
Oh, my pleasure, Christy.
Mike Flanagan is a professor of wildland fire at the University of Alberta.